Hey gang, coming to you once again from a hotel. For better or for worse, I think it's too many times I've been doing these updates at hotels, which means I'm not on the trail. Let me give you an update. What's been going on? A few days ago, let's see, came out. We were heading toward Hikertown from Hiker's Heaven in Aqua Dulce, 2 or 3 night trip, and there's a fire closure, so we had to skip 12 miles of it. We got some trail angels to give us a ride around, so I guess it was only 2 nights. But you know, it's getting hot, and still a lot of long stretches without water. Well, the night before we got into Hikertown, you know, we got enough water to get us to the next water, which was just a rain cache at where we were going to camp. And we got there pretty dry because it was a hot day. We each had only about a liter left. I was hiking with Derek, buddy I've been hiking with for about 2 weeks now, and this gal, City Girl, we've been leapfrogging for quite a bit. So yeah, we opened the water cache and there's nothing in there, just the dregs, man. So they got us a little concerned. We scooped up some of that water full of mosquito larvae, leaves. You know, we have filtered all that stuff out, but it just gives you an idea of the quality of water that was there. It wasn't good. So it was getting dark. We had 5 miles to go to the next rain cache. The reports of that, the quality of that cache and the water in it wasn't that great. So I was fearful that we were going to have to hike through the night, 17 miles to Hikertown, and we would have had to have done that death march just to get there before the heat of the day. And with no water and the heat, you know, we'd have been screwed. We'd have had to somehow gotten some help. But the rain cache 5 miles up did have water. It was kind of brown, but we were able to filter it out. Got the water we need, and we hiked a little bit further and found a camp, and just got there really late, totally gassed. It was a 25-mile day, hadn't been planning that much. Got there about 1, and we knew the next day was going to be a scorcher. So I like to leave camp at 4:30 on these days. We needed some rest, so we had to push it to 5:30. Which meant it was a hot day riding into Hikertown. And let me tell you, I rolled in at 12:30 in the afternoon, and I was on the verge of heat exhaustion. The heat's been killing me out here. I'm just much more susceptible to it than others that I've seen. You know, these other people are bouncing back, but I've had 3 days here where I've ended the day just totally wrecked, and the next 24 hours resting up in a hotel, I can just feel my body's been totally taxed. Heart rate elevated for a good 12-24 hours afterwards, and each time I just know that if I had to keep going in those conditions, I'd be hurting myself. So at Hikertown, which should be a hiker ghetto, that place was a total dive, but you know, they did have a shower, some water, toilets. That was great. Other than that, it's just a total wreck. I'd just skip it if I could, but it did have what I needed. Crashed there for the night. Got a ride here to Tehachapi and just signed off on the desert. I'm done. I'm not putting myself at risk for, to be under that kind of sun and that kind of heat when it's been beating down on me and taxing my body that hard. Just sweating buckets, having to carry more water, you know, just kind of starting to operate at the fringe. So that means that I've been resting here for a few days, and I got transportation up to Kennedy Meadows tomorrow. And I'll be skipping about 7-8 miles of the worst part of the desert. That kills me to do it, I'll admit. You know, I feel like I haven't passed a test of toughness here. But you know what? If I had to do it, I could. But I don't need to put myself through that. I got nothing to prove here in terms of being a tough guy. I've been through enough. I'm not here to test myself. I'm here to have a good time. I'll push myself in the mountains under conditions where I'm not going to put myself in danger. So there you go. If I can rattle off all the miles from Kennedy Meadows to Canada, it's still like 1,900. Be doing well over 2,200 to get there. Then I'll come back and do the desert, finish it off in the fall, and still lay claim to being a PCT through hiker. But for now, it's kind of a flip-flop deal. Yeah, that's where we are. But I'm stoked to get back in the mountain, to get into the mountains. The mountain stretches so far here in the desert have been the best. I'm in my element. You know, love the elevation gain. It's what I can do, nice and cool. You got shade, you got trees. It's just awesome. So we've got a 12-day stretch of that coming up. Should be great. Totally excited for it. Might be catching up with some friends who I started with, but they've slipped ahead of me because of all the injuries I've had. And so maybe I venture into the Sierras with them. So all in all, it's an adventure. The trail is totally different than what I expected. Very humbling, and didn't expect to have to skip a big portion of the desert, but here I am. It's totally the right move. No regrets about it. No problems with it. So that's all I got for now, and we'll see you when I next have Wi-Fi service, which could be a couple weeks from now. Later.